Hello everybody and welcome back to my series Revisiting the Wizarding World. This is where we go back, rewatch, revisit, and re-review every single Wizarding World movie, both Harry Potter and now the Fantastic Beasts franchise that have come out so far. And at the very end we're going to be ranking them from worst to best, so make sure you hit subscribe down below so you don't miss out on that video. But today we are talking about the fresh start, the whole brand new thing. Harry Potter's done, now we're moving into a totally different era, totally different characters, and that's Fantastic Beasts and where to find them. This is the adventure of writer Newt Scamander in New York's secret community of witches and wizards 70 years before Harry Potter as he seeks to recapture his escaped creatures while solving the mystery of a terrorizing being in the city. Fantastic Beasts sees the introduction of a brand new cast of characters with Eddie Redmayne playing the shy Newt Scamander, and he fits pretty perfectly within the Wizarding world. His mannerisms, the way he connects with the CG creatures while also being extremely awkward around anyone he doesn't know or trust right away, and just his overall demeanor are a great addition to this series. Plus it helps that he's representing another house that isn't Gryffindor. I'm sorry Gryffindors, you got a full series of movies lasting a decade of 8 movies, so it's time to share the light. We also have Katherine Waterston as Tina, Alison Sudol as Queenie, Ezra Miller as Credence, and Colin Farrell as Mr. Graves, and of course my personal favorite and standout of this cast other than Eddie Redmayne is Dan Fogler as No-Maj Jacob Kowalski. I did like Katherine Waterston and Alison Sudol's characters as they gave us a different female character's perspective within the Wizarding world, but Kowalski gives us the perspective of a muggle, or as they called in the US, a no-maj.
No magic. They're non-wizard.
Sorry, we call them muggles.
And brings about a whole new set of problems as well as a nice little fish out of water story that's very reminiscent of Harry Potter and that he's seeing this magic and discovering it for the first time. The style and CG of this movie are also actually pretty good, despite that being a major point of contention for me throughout the Harry Potter films. But for the most part, everything works very well. You get a good feel of the 1920s New York, and even with the inclusion of some very wild creatures and events occurring, though I do have to say there is one extremely rough looking scene that happens when they're in Newt's case during the film that looks god awful, and I'm not sure how it made into the final cut of this movie. But where I think Fantastic Beasts shines most is the story. Now I know a lot of Harry Potter fans may be jumping right down in the comments right now and typing furiously how absolutely wrong that I am, and I hear you, I stand with you, but this one actually does have some good stuff in it. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them took us out of the Potter era we've lived in for the better part of 10 years, and also took us to the United States where a whole new world within the Wizarding world would be opened up. We get a slew of new information including the aforementioned Fantastic Beasts, we learn a little bit of Ilvermorny very briefly, the entire system of magical government in the United States, also known as the MACUSA, and some very interesting anti-witch propaganda and movements. And though this movie isn't perfect, I find myself enjoying it whenever I sit down and watch it. You don't necessarily have to have the knowledge of the Harry Potter films or books and can come in completely fresh, but it does help to have that prior knowledge. The weakest aspect of the story, however, involved Grindelwald, which I won't discuss too much in this video as he's more of a centerpiece in the next film, but the story in this film is actually quite enjoyable. Overall, I would have to say that I very much enjoy Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. It's not a perfect movie, and then oftentimes it doesn't quite live up to the Harry Potter legacy, but it also gives us a whole bunch of new information that we didn't necessarily know before, as well as a completely different story that we can't necessarily predict based off of previously released books. And also some of the story elements can be a little bit much at times, but I remember even when I first saw this movie, I wasn't quite in love with it, though after a few rewatches and even rewatching it for this series, I actually found myself quite enjoying it, and I always remember that there are certain elements and story beats that are actually quite a lot of fun, even more superior than Harry Potter even though that might be a little bit of a controversial opinion. But do I think it's the best of the Wizarding World movies? For that, you're gonna have to hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell notification down below so you don't miss out on the epic finale where we're gonna be ranking these movies from worst to best to find out where this movie falls within that list. So make sure you subscribe and don't miss out on that video. And if you want even more content from me, head over to the Nerdgenic YouTube channel where I have new videos all the time, fun live streams when they do happen, my weekly history of series, and tons and tons of new videos almost every single day, if not every other day. So head over to them, give them a subscribe, and check them out. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I hope to see you in the next video.